In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, and welcome to the first episode of I Digress podcast. You're here with your host, Rob, and I think I'll just start off with telling you a little bit about the show.
I digress.
Each episode will be roughly 30 minutes long. I'm thinking 10 episodes per season, this, of course, being season 1. And each segment will be split up with this sound effect. When you hear that, we're going to just swiftly move on to a different subject. Either I can't think of anything else to talk about, or I just feel like changing the subject. Really simple as that. I guess I can introduce myself. For those who know me, I'm a pretty weird, egotistic sounding guy. So it kind of covers the basis of why I'm doing this podcast. In general, I have a lot of time on my hands due to this coronavirus / COVID-19 that's going about, so I thought what better way than to spread my voice to the masses, because who would have thought that this is the best way to get everyone to listen to your hobbies, because everyone has nothing better to do right now. And well, I guess we can sort of start off with a little bit of a topical conversation. Of course, we're all in isolation. This is lockdown. And trending, Italy in 24, hashtag pray for Boris, hashtag Katie Hopkins, hashtag over 900. I'm assuming those are all COVID-19 related. And if, like me, you're not enjoying sitting alone and not much to do and wishing you could be at the gym, then this is the podcast for you. It's going to be a bit random, it's going to be a bit put together, but hopefully you can abide with me throughout this entire process. Funny fact, this is podcast round 2.0 because I've already recorded the first version of this podcast, just not on the right audio. So this is going to be a sad second attempt. I've got my Corona beer and I've got everything else open. It's a good thing we don't do bloopers. Let's get right into it. First things first, we're going to tap into a little bit of food for thought. It's just a random phrase that just kind of makes you think like, never thought of that before. So first one off the list, animals don't understand accidents. When you go to the toilet in the middle of the night and trip over your dog, that dog thinks you woke him up just to kick him. They have no concept of what we understand. So imagine you're that poor doggy, just lying, minding your own business, and then all of a sudden you get kicked, and I would hope you're apologetic about it, but he's just sitting there, or she, just sitting there being like, you've kicked me awake? And now you're aggressively apologizing. I'm really scared and I don't understand what's going on, but I guess I'll wag my tail in happiness. God, we don't deserve dogs. And thankfully, dogs can actually contract this virus, because that would be a nightmare. Second on the list, over 18 years, there's still never been a single turtle in SpongeBob. Now, I've never actually noticed that. I mean, I'm not really exactly an avid watcher of SpongeBob, but correct me if I'm wrong. For those of you who actually do watch SpongeBob, it's not really a sensical cartoon, but they have a squirrel underwater who lives in a dome, surviving purely in an astronaut suit, but they wouldn't put a turtle. Turtles are the one that live underwater, right? I always get confused between turtle and tortoise. I have a friend who owns a tortoise, but you think I would know, but I really don't. It's a bit confusing because I'm like, they look very similar and I assume both are reptiles. So why is it one can live under the water and one doesn't? Surely, I don't know, is it like tomato or tomato? I don't know if that even makes any sense, but it's just a bit disturbing. I mean, I guess they have a squid that acts like the old, wise, annoyed one, which makes sense because, I mean, the turtle would just be really slow and stubborn, I'd imagine. Maybe wise? Talking about SpongeBob, you ever wonder what's in the Krusty Krab? Gets you thinking, doesn't it? Put on your foil hat. Because I genuinely saw something on the internet one day that said the Krusty Krab is actually made with crab meat. And that is why you will only ever see one crab in the entire SpongeBob. And he's selling his own kind. Now, talking about Mr. Krabs. Great having your own species as your surname. I mean, imagine being called Mr. Human. Mr. Humans. Yeah. But I'm not a biologist. I'm just some guy with a voice inside your head. But he has a whale for his daughter. And they always say that she is not adopted. Now, can you just explain to me, how does a whale come from a crab? I mean, not even taking proportions into account, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I know I shouldn't be seeing any sense from a nonsensical cartoon, but a whale from a crab, that's a stretch even for me. I just can't wrap my hand around it. And I know I always get caught up in the weirdest things, and it really bugs me, like the smallest things, like the fact that they can actually make fire underwater, or the fact that they have running water underwater and they can drink liquids. It's like, I just need that little bit of consistency, just some sort of fragment that I understand, you know what, this is the base. This is the base. This is where we're going from. There's no consistency whatsoever. And we're supposed to just sit down and accept that. And I say, no, I'm not okay with that. Let's see, another food for thought. I mean, right now, you can't really use the expression, I got places to go, people to see anymore. If there's one thing that I've noticed about this entire isolation, is that you're willing to text absolutely anybody right now. Whether it's an old high school flame or a friend that you just kind of lost contact with, you never really been keeping in touch, even though you kind of think you should, year on year, always going back home and just never finding the words. Right now, you have nothing but time, so find the words, buddy. As any great person used to say, oh, hey there, buddy. That's all you need. That is all you need. Just slide into their DMs and be like, hey, I know I've been a prick for the last 20 years, but do you want to catch up over some FaceTime and chill? Because you ain't gonna meet them in person. Don't do that. Please do not do that, because that would be illegal and you might get fined. You will get fined, in fact. Definitely don't do that. God, I crave human attention right now. Oh, final food for thought. If a human was immortal, there's no limit to how fat they could get. Now just imagine that. You find out that you're mortal, and the first thing you want to do is eat as much food as you can. Now, not to say that it's a waste of your time, but a better man might say that trying to learn every single human knowledge possible might be the best way forward. But I know I wouldn't do it. If I was immortal, I'd probably just sit there and try and see how many times I could kill myself. But that's a dark side nobody wants to see. But let's get back to it. How fat could you get? I mean, if every organ was still to work and you were to actually eat every day to increase your size to beyond what your body could be capable of holding, I imagine the first month would be absolutely amazing, just eating absolutely everything. But imagine you got to the size that you're so big that your head is just beyond the breathable air and you're actually just outside the Earth's atmosphere. If you couldn't die, would that mean you're just in a constant state of feeling like you're suffocating but never quite reaching death, which would just be an eternity of suffocating? That just sounds like a fate worse than hell. I'm not sure I would want that. I mean, reply back to me if that kind of seems something you'd want to do. Would you just kind of roll over until you got to the other side and your face was close to the ground? Would you even be able to roll over at that size? Could you even move? Or would you just... I mean, actually, would you even still be able to eat? This is not an ad infinitum. There's got to be a limit to people actually being able to put food down your throat. I feel like nobody really thought about the practical aims behind this question. If it is a question, I guess it is a question. Why am I looking at the practicalities of how limits of fatness you could have? Anyway. And just like that, we got to move on to the next topic. I really hope you appreciate the sound effects. This is a very rough podcast, so we don't really have the technology to insert musical items or have saved bits of music to transition greatly. So you have me and my voice. Next thing we're going to do, I thought, let's see what kind of random musical instruments we could generate. So I literally went into Google and typed in random instrument musical generator. So I'm going to press play and we're going to see what we come up with. Okay. So we have oboe, which I know you think it sounds like hobo, but it's got nothing to do with homeless people whatsoever. It actually is just a long object that you place your mouth against and blow really hard, and it creates a noise. Second, we have the French horn, which, funnily enough, is something you put your mouth against and blow really hard. It just feels like a lot of musical instruments is just all about manipulation of air, funnily enough. The vibraphone, which I'm assuming creates some sort of interaction with air so that we can hear. No idea what that is. Then again, the fourth instrument we have here is the zither. Now, if you're the kind of person that's sitting here like, of course, Rob, I know exactly what a zither is, then I hate you, because no one should know what a zither is. That's beyond anything that we should actually have in our understanding. But I will actually Google right now what a zither is, because I have absolutely no idea. I want to see if I can maybe play what a zither is. I mean, what is a zither? Let's look it up. Let's see if we can get a definition of zither. See, this is the part where I'm actually thankful we don't have any recording facilities so that you can actually see what I look like as I'm sitting here typing all this, because I can tell you right now, this is not a pretty state. So a zither is a class of stringed instruments. The word zither is a German rendering of the Greek word kithara, from which the modern word guitar also derives. Historically, it has been applied to many instruments of the Saturn family, often played by the Asian ethnicity. Oh, okay. That's what a zither is. I have a feeling we all know what this is going to sound like, but let's see if we can predict this well. I'm going to play for us a nice little tune by Lily Lou on the TEDx high school program. Okay, I was definitely nodding my head side to side, and if you weren't, you're a massive liar. That's like the tune that you kind of hear in all these fighting films from back in the day. I never knew what actually created those noises, but now I know it's a zither, and it looks just as weird as it sounds, but it just looks so majestic, and the more you know. I feel like, this program can be educational sometimes. We're not completely out the loop here. You might learn a thing or two. I might learn a thing or two. I really wish there was someone else here that I could talk to besides myself. But here we are. Listener, I'm talking to you, and, well, you can't talk back to me yet. I'd like to think I know exactly what you're saying, and you're just saying, Rob, keep doing what you're doing, hit the randomize button again, and tell me more about random musical instruments. Here we are, we have very familiar instruments such as the triangle and the xylophone. But I would just like to point out we also have the slide whistle. What is a slide whistle? What is a slide whistle? I'm sitting here just kind of imagining a whistle that you can slide down, but then the practicality behind that, to carry such a massive object that you could actually slide down, would just be a drain. And I feel like if it was light enough for you to actually carry, then it would also be prone to breaking. And my mind just thinks, well, that's a dumb idea. Referees would have a great time, but they wouldn't really get around to calling any good calls with a slide whistle. Just sounds really impractical. Stupid slide whistle. Thinks it's better than us. We can show that slide whistle who really is the better character. You wouldn't blow a slide whistle. Neither would I. We hate slide whistles. And just like that, I officially think I'm going crazy with my own time. But moving on. Now we're going to talk about the importance of stretching. And for anyone who hasn't already, you really should get into yoga, because your muscles are craving it. If, like me, you sit in chairs that are really uncomfortable, like the chair I'm sitting in, which is a glorified picnic chair, although I would not take it to a picnic, not that we're allowed to right now, because it's extremely uncomfortable. I'm using a pillow, but it is doing nothing, and my back feels like a xylophone, because every time I sit up straight, cracks and makes a great noise. Yoga, yes. Stretching the muscles, great. Cracking the bones, if you do it right, can feel amazing. And anyone who says that there's a negative connotation with doing yoga is wrong. And I'm going to do a plug through later because, I'm shameless. But there's nothing better than doing stretching. And I have here written down, in brackets, groaning noises. And if you're the kind of person that sits down or lies down and makes this noise, or anything of that sort, then you have to realize if you are under 50 years old, you should not be making these kind of noises. That is a good sign that you need to stretch. You need to bring your body some calm. And it's great for the soul, really. I don't understand why people are such haters about the entire situation. Clearly, they're just not used to trying stuff. And just as disjointed as this podcast is, I'm going to look up the mood for the day. Because the mood, unlike your mood right now, which I imagine you're not in the greatest mood because, I mean, who is in these times? The mood of the day, unlike the 2016 melodrama Romance, 1 hour 43 minutes, 94% people like this film, the Korean Odyssey that really changed everyone's soul. It's not that. I would like to say the mood is calm. Stay calm. Just try and bring some sort of peace to the mind and know that, it's not all doom and gloom. You can still find times to do stuff. Try and do any creative things like not a podcast, because then you'd be filthy competition and I would have to come and hunt you. Try and read a book, maybe sing a song, or get down to writing that story that you never quite finished, and just take an hour a day just to improve yourself. Instead of just sitting down, eating and playing video games, listen to this podcast while you do it. Because God knows you're not going to listen to me doing nothing. That would be horrendous. And, well, we're going to change the subject here. I'm going to give you a little tapping into, yes, that's right, your horoscope. And you might sit there and be like, well, you don't know my horoscope. Well, I'm going to tell you my horoscope because realistically, they all sound the same and they don't really differ that much. And to let you know, my horoscope is Pisces. So anyone who's Pisces, respect you, but also don't respect you because who actually pays attention to horoscopes? And in case you don't know what a horoscope is, that is the two fishes that align with my birthday. And it's ironic because I can't actually swim. For the love of God, I would die if someone threw me in water. Now let's get right to it. I feel like it has to be put into some sort of context here. The kind of person that would listen to horoscopes. Drama often follows you, Pisces. You have a flair for the unique and an exciting, and you just naturally stir up some emotions and excitement all around you. And sometimes you can't even help it when dramatic moments arise. But keep in mind that not everyone can handle all that drama and excitement. Does that mean that you should tone it down around certain people? Or should you just be yourself? Sometimes you tend to hide your light when you feel unaccepted or out of your element, but that does not change who you are. Be proud of your depth or your differences and allow yourself to shine. Now, you may be wondering why I did that accent. I just felt it really covered the piece. And I feel that can really apply to everyone, the sort of general vague context of shine, but, don't shine too brightly. And keep in mind that not everyone can handle the drama and excitement, but try not to attract too much drama and excitement, but also be the drama and excitement, because you have to know that drama often follows you. Insert your horoscope in this space, period. And just to be on the cultural side, I'm going to do the Chinese daily horoscope. For anyone who doesn't know, it's Year of the Rat. And if you do not know the animals of the Chinese horoscope, you're a big racist and you should look it up. And I chose rat because, well, this year is the Year of the Rat, but also anyone born 1996, as I am born 1996, is the Year of the Rat. And let's find out what we have. Fixed element water. Year 2020 for the rat. This is your year. How ironic. And it will be a year when you will shine your brightest. All of your natural qualities will be inviolably enhanced, making it even easier for you to attain happiness and any kind of success that you desire. You are clever, imaginative, and highly adaptive. I think we can leave it right there. I think we all know that 2020's not really been our year. I don't think it's been anyone's year. I mean, we can have like a little yearly round-off. Let's see. What's happened this year? Trump almost started World War III with a single Twitter text. We have the Australian fires that almost wiped out an entire ecosystem. There's also the fact that Kobe died in a helicopter, but that happened. R.I.P. Kobe. #24, #Mamba mentality. And then, obviously, we're all in isolation because some guy in Wuhan thought eating a bat sounded great. If there's a lesson that can be learned from this, don't eat random animals, stick to the ones that, are generally healthy to eat, and probably not buy it from some random market. Maybe stick to the stores or hunt game if that's your thing, but game that actually is game and not forbidden to actually eat. Things like bats, swans. Yeah, don't eat swans. Dogs. Yeah, we shouldn't eat dogs. I mean, come on. Dogs are literally the best. Why would you eat them? They're probably looking at you thinking, yes, thank you. You're giving me attention. And they probably enjoy you eating them. That's how pure they are as creatures. I just can't understand why anyone would do it. But here we are. And how long do we have in this podcast? We have exactly 6 minutes and 30 seconds. We're going to go into more talking points. If anyone hasn't done it yet, you should go out yourself. Not with anyone, and not with anyone more than 2 people at a time, and only once a day, but you should buy yourself some Corona beer, because it really goes down a treat at this time. And I'm just going to give everyone a little bit of advice. Let's really appreciate our NHS workers at this time, all the nurses, doctors, and care assistants, and bin men, and engineers, and just anyone who's keeping things running during this tireless, confusing time. Let's just applaud the people that you don't think to applaud first. Even the people who just paved the roads. They're keeping our society working. Next time you look down at a waiter or waitress, don't. Because this is a really hard time for people in the hospitality industry. Let's just take a small second for that. A small minute so that I can pass time and look up what I'm going to talk about next. I think the best thing that I can do, because it's my podcast, I can just say I want to plug in my meme page at can'teven_lift. Find it and you'll find the most hilarious memes, most topical and most gym-worthy memes you have ever come across. You will not be disappointed. I do implore you. And also, I have a blog. You don't have to follow it, but I really recommend you do it. If you like things that come satirically and are a bit facetious, it's www.robsreviews.co.uk, and you will not be disappointed. In fact, today, I'm actually going to be making a new blog post. What it's going to be about, you're just going to have to dot down the address and give it a read. If you hate it, don't say anything about it. Yes, it's going to be a bit controversial. It might not even be your cup of tea. But you know what? You just don't have to read it. And if you don't like this podcast, which I really hope you do, just give me feedback here. You don't have my Twitter, and you probably don't even know who I am. And I've not created an account for this podcast yet. But give me your feedback anyway, and just tell me if you like it or not. And if you don't, you don't have to listen. It's kind of just one of those things, It's how I kind of view cyberbullying. If someone sends you a nasty message, just unfriend them, delete them. Be the pragmatic solution. Don't do it. And this has been the voice inside your head. I've enjoyed the time here, and I hope that you're listening to me in the comfort of your own home, doing stuff that is legal. Oh God, how did we even end up here? Oh well, and just like that, I digress. Time to bid you farewell. Goodbye, and until next time, which hopefully won't be until next week because I'm going to run out of things to actually talk about. Au revoir.
So, yeah.